Yay Networks.
Welcome to a brand new episode of the Fitish podcast. I'm Jenna.
I'm Francisco.
With my Franny. I haven't called you Franny much lately. Yeah. What do you want our child Remy to call you?
I'll be perfectly fine with that, you know?
What?
Dad? Papa?
Dad? Papa. Yeah, he says Papa. You taught him Papa.
Well, I told him Papa, but he's his Papa. So we're going to start fixing that.
I'm sorry,
Papa.
could you say that again and explain the difference?
That the accent is in the last A, not in the first A.
Papa?
Papa.
Papa.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm. I told Fran, things like this, so imagine I feel like the Hispanic community in general is not nearly as critical of, the outsider trying to learn Spanish as the French community is. But I swear, when we were in Paris, I thought I not flawlessly, but I said the right phrase trying to order a coffee somewhere and I wanted to impress Fran. But I'm definitely one of those, which I don't get super nervous very often, but I get real uncomfortable, as most of us do, trying to speak a language in front of, someone it's their native language. And when we were in Paris and I went in, I was like, je voudrais un café, s'il vous plaît. And they're like, huh? And I'm like, can I have a coffee? Thanks.
Well, the things that we were still at the airport in Dallas when you were trying to do that in Starbucks.
No, it was that morning we were in Paris. And, they're so snooty. And I see TikToks about it, how people are like, you could literally say exactly the correct thing, but they're just assholes about it. And I feel like Fran, that's just such a perfect example when I was saying, I don't remember what it was the other day. I was saying something to you and you were like, huh? And I'm like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. It was almost the exact pronunciation. And this is why we're so intimidated. And when I say we, I mean all of us that are trying to learn another language.
You have to understand, you're speaking with a person that English is his second language. I know what that feels. I've been there.
Then you should have way more empathy. You should open up your ears a little bit.
No, I understood the other people that said, huh? Instead of creating empathy, I create empathy for the people.
Why? Imagine how terrible. I mean, I even do it with you with things.
Really
sometimes
don't understand.
I ran over a bolter today, and I'm like, what is a bolter? And you're like, ka. I'm like, oh, a vulture? I make effort to try and understand.
So do I.
Sound it out,
But you didn't act it like I did. You didn't go ka. I just...
what is drawer in Spanish?
Drawer?
Yeah.
Cajón.
So one day I said cajones, and it was like, no, balls versus drawer. And I'm like, well, it basically is the same thing. The words almost it sounds identical. Cajon.
Yeah.
And I was like, can you fix the drawers? And I was like, cajones. And you're like, no, I don't know what you're saying. I was like, come on.
You're doing great.
I'm working. I said, screw you, Duolingo. And I got that other one that I don't remember the name of. What's it called? I haven't opened it up in a minute. It's a good one, though, that I like more.
It's called a Rosetta Stone?
No, it shows how much I've been using it. I actually like it more because they have live classes. A lot of y'all have said you take the live classes with it. But
Interlingua?
Huh?
I don't know.
No, I like it, but I forget. Well, it's the other language learner situation, but we'll see. Anyway, so, Fran, you had a eventful day yesterday.
Fuck. I had...
Fran said to me when he called me, by the way, before, I want you to tell the story. Fran says to me, don't make me regret telling you this. And I was like, whoa, okay, it's going to be a sensitive story. But why don't you share with everyone what happened?
Yeah, so I had a really busy couple of days. I was in Houston, I was in Austin, meeting clients. And I'll tell you all about that later because It's very exciting about our deal in Circuit of the Americas. But I was driving back and this is the second car of the same car I have had. So I'm very familiar with it. I know exactly the borderline when I'm about to run out of gas.
Yeah, it usually says empty, right? It usually
Don't make me regret telling the story in the podcast.
Okay, in all fairness, I'm going to ask the same questions that every single person listening is going to ask. And they're going to be like, how did this happen? So
So
I'm just saying, can you explain? Because my car,
I
for
will.
instance, says 50 miles,
Oh, 100%.
30
So
miles.
mine after around below 50 miles, which 50 miles is a huge range.
Is it?
Yes, babe. 50 miles is from here past forward. So it's a huge range. So below 50 miles, my car says low range. But I know exactly, also I think I did, where the line is. So I was waiting for a gas station and I was actually about to exit. I had half of the last quarter. Actually, it didn't even say, like, it was half of the quarter. So all of a sudden, the car just started.
And you were literally in the middle of Austin to Dallas on the interstate.
I was in the middle to Austin of Dallas. Thankfully, for the speed I was going, I was able to just keep going. Went over the medium to the side road. And when I got about to jump into the side road, that's when all my momentum was gone. So I could see, like, this was like a cartoon or like a comedy movie. I could see like a light,
Or
a
horror.
shimmering light in the horizon, and I couldn't tell how far it was. So I start googling like closest gas station. It says 45 minutes walking.
Walking. And what was the temperature?
It was 106. In my car it says 111. And the second that the car went off, I received a notification, something about
The heat advisory.
heat advisory,
Yeah.
like be aware while driving because it was super hot while driving. They didn't say anything about walking. So long story short, I started calculating. I was like, well, if I call roadside assistance, it's gonna take an hour. I don't have AC, it's going to be the same. I'm gonna be dead. Second option, I'm gonna hitchhike. It's like chances are I'm gonna be dead also. So I just started
At
walking.
what point did you ever consider calling me?
At no point.
Just so y'all know.
At no
I
point.
did not learn
Like
this
I had
story.
already enough wrath from the environment around me.
Why? This is so fucked up, actually. That hurts my feelings that you think I would give you wrath.
You gave me wrath the second that I called you. Didn't you?
No. See, this is where you're feeling insecure because I literally
I
said
am.
to you on speakerphone with my mom in the car, I go, how did you run out of gas? Like, it was just
Well,
a
the things
question.
that-
And you're
that-
like, don't make me regret telling you the story. Okay, grown-ass man, how'd you run out of gas is all I asked.
Well, the things that is absolutely.
It's just a question that most people would ask after you run out of gas.
Say that
is how?
to the 20th question. Like that question. It's completely irrelevant
To
at
you.
that point. To anybody, like the situation is, I had no gas. How did I get there? Doesn't matter. I got there and I'm moving past it. You know, I'm trying to fix the question. Like I'm trying to fix the issue I had by resolving that question. That could be a really good question to ask, like 20 questions after. Just how am I never gonna get there again?
Okay, go ahead with your story.
So I got into this little place, this little rental place. They rent like machinery, heavy machinery. And I asked, like, pretty sure these people have gas. And all those machines only take diesel.
Right.
So either diesel or 50-50. So I was there like, okay, so now I have time to think. Like I'm in an AC environment. And
then at any point then, did you consider calling me?
babe, I was about to call you when everything was solved. There's nothing you were able to do at that point besides worrying.
Exactly. And I wish, like, I hate that you don't communicate with me like, hey, I ran out of gas and I'm going to be walking. Yeah, I'd be worried, but Jesus, Fran, like, I just want to know where you are. You're my partner. You're the father of our child.
I was about to call you if I start seeing, like, vultures start flying around me little by little.
It would just be
lowering
nice
down.
if something did happen to you and all of the steps that you took between actually calling me and all the hours that passed that I could have at least known. Okay, so then I have a cop show at my door, or you don't come home that night. Where is he? Well, I don't know. I never heard from him. Oh, we found his car abandoned on the side of the road. Oh, I didn't know that. He didn't call me. Like, I would have no, like, it would have been nice to be like, see, I think differently. I'd be like, this is where I'm at right now. Drop a pen. This is where I'm at. In case anything happens to me, this is where I'm at. Give me a fucking starting point, man, to know, like, if something did happen to you, I
Well,
at least
hopefully
know
we
where
don't
to
have-
send search and rescue.
I will do that next time. Hopefully there's not a next time, but it was so. I was in that store. One of the guys hurt me. And
He hurt you? Where did he touch you?
No, anyhow, he heard the story. And he's like, dude, I'll take you to the gas station. Obviously, 45 minutes. Walking was like 3 minutes driving.
Yeah.
We got there. I got gas. I was like,
Was he nice?
he was really nice. Like, dude, let me fill your tank up. Like, let me do something for you. And it's like, no, man, like, I'm retired. I have nothing else to do. Like, you're good. I got there, like, I was like, dude, like, let me give you something. Like, let me give you some cash or any, like, he didn't just want it. Like, he was,
What if you had bought him a lottery ticket and he won?
I don't take those chances, you know? I like him.
Do you buy him a soda or anything?
He didn't even let me buy a soda. I said, like, do you want something from 7-Eleven or something?
So you got the gas, got back in his car, and he took you to your car?
Yes.
Oh. And nothing?
No, actually, when we got into the gas station, it's like, let me fill your gas up. Because
Let me
actually,
fill you up. Let me fill up your tank in a different way.
Let me just do that because actually want to see if you can take me back to my car so I don't have to fucking walk carrying 4 gallons of gas, you know?
Yeah, you would have caught on fire.
So I got there. We were driving, and I actually didn't know if it was the gas because, as I said, I have half of a quarter of a gas in
So
the
an
gauge.
8.
So I was like, maybe it's not the gas. And he was asking, like, well, he's like, I know a really good friend of mine. He's a mechanic. If that's the case, we'll figure out to take your car over there.
Yeah,
Like,
he lives down this dirt road and has a Leatherface that lives in the basement. That you were in Texas Chainsaw Land, by the way, when this happened.
yeah. Well, anyhow, I put the gas. The car
Started no problem.
started no problem, and I think that's the most white girl I've ever felt.
I
in
know,
my
that's the
life.
thing. That's why you're all angry and like, you know, you're all edgy when I go to ask you a question. Because if I ran out of gas, you'd be like, Jenna, sweetie, how did you run out of gas? You would do the exact same thing to me.
No, but like the things that how you run out of gas, it's very implicit. It's like there is no questions about that. How did you run out of gas? Well,
Why
gas
didn't you get it in
was
Austin?
consumed by the combustion of the engine.
Why didn't you get it in Austin?
Because I was never in Austin when I was living. I was living from Circuit of the Americas
Well, you know what I'm
direct.
saying. Why didn't you just get it before you hit the road?
Well, the thing is that I wanted to get to Buc-ee's, you know, like I wanted to get there. And I saw a sign that says you can make it. Couldn't. No, true story is like I really think that I had at least another 40 miles because based on the vast experience, this never have happened to me before. So based on that,
You've never run out of gas before?
I've never run out of gas before.
That's good. Good.
And but you know you have to have a first. I did it.
I haven't, but I have.
I'm humble to you all white girls.
Recently, you pulled off with the gas pump in the.
You know I have had a couple of gas experiences, ins and outs.
I pulled off one time. Yeah, Fran did that recently. I posted a photo. I mean, he literally was just like pulling from the tank up to the store, but we were so tired. I mean, that's fair. That's fine. I have done that one time, but I didn't notice it for like a really long time. And I mean, it obviously had popped off at some point, but I guess I had gotten it like on the way to work one morning at like, 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. And then one of my girlfriends and I were cruising around like that evening, like going, we were going somewhere to pick up food, whatever. We lived together at the time. And this guy was like waving us down at a light and we're like, ew, like beat it. Like we didn't want to roll our window down. We're like, leave us alone. But obviously like my gas tank was open with like a handle in it. And he was just trying to let us know. And I didn't know till I got home and we got out of the car that night and her and I were like, oh my God, we've been cruising around town all day with like open gas tank, like a pump. Like, I mean, what an idiot. Fuck. It happens to all of us, babe. But yeah, it's so dangerous to run out of gas in the middle of nowhere. I'm glad you're okay.
Yeah, I knew I was about to figure out the second that it happened. I just didn't know how. but it's not the worst thing it could happen.
Well,
And
certainly not.
in the worst case scenarios, I got really lucky, as I always do. And I'm very happy to be able to tell you this story. And it wasn't a fact that the Texas Chainsaw was like,
Well, yeah, because I'd be sitting here with no idea. I would have just gotten like some cops.
oh, I
showing
will
up at
send
my
you a
door.
text message when I start seeing like, when I start feeling like shit is like shaky and like I'm all like sweaty and dehydrated and like about my last seconds, I would have FaceTime you and Remy.
So you'd be fine if this happened to me and I didn't call you or let you know.
No, babe. The thing is that we're different people.
Correct.
So,
but isn't being in a relationship about not doing what you want to do, but what you feel your partner deserves?
so if you would have called me, I could have, like, I'm pretty sure I'm very problem solving oriented. And I don't think I would have panicked of the fact that you run out of gas at that point.
Yeah, if I was like, oh, hey, I just like went to this tractor supply store and like got in a random guy's truck and like offered him some sexual favors to take me.
Well,
and,
I also had a gun.
and then
with
I
me.
was like, but everything came out okay. I'm on my way home, man. Yeah. Well, I mean,
yeah.
yeah, you would have been like, why the fuck didn't you call me and tell me? Like, you could be dead, you know?
No, for sure. You should call me for sure.
If that happens.
Yeah.
No, I've learned, self-sufficient, take care of it myself. Maybe I'll call you later once I got it all rectified.
Sounds good.
I got Remy's haircut yesterday. You were supposed to make it back in time, but this is what got in the way. So Fran missed the haircut. And I had some inspo images. And
Have you seen Rain Man? I think that's the picture that you show them.
why are you so mean to me? Now y'all see, week after week, now y'all see. You used to think I was mean to him, but now you see his true colors. What do you mean I showed you the inspo images and then you come on this podcast and like throw me under the bus? Like I actually communicate with you and text you the images.
I have never seen the images.
Yours.
Which were
I showed it to you the other day.
You never send them to me.
I was showing you in person when we were laying in bed. Anyway, I was
He
trying to
looks amazing. He looks so cute. He looks completely different, but he looks just like I think we lost our baby.
I like long hair more, so I've decided, but it'll grow back. I mean, it's no big deal. And I didn't get it shaved or anything like that. That's just not my style.
He just looks like a very preppy boy.
Yeah, I was trying to get it kind of more like yours, but you have more curl and stuff than he does. His hair's some days curly. So it's so funny, man, trying to do that haircut. I mean, it is just like pinning down an alligator, trying to wrestle an alligator. I feel so bad for Rosalinda and they're cutting his hair. The place was so cute. I mean, they have it working on all cylinders. They got pick your car, any car, little ambulance, fire truck, cop car. What do you want? Put on Miss Rachel. She's like, Coco Melon. And I was like,
No.
No. I brought a marshmallow with me because I thought he'd really like that, but he really liked the Dum-Dums more. And then like, we don't really give Remy much sugar. I mean, other than sugar that's already like in fruit and stuff like that, like his breakfast bars. But man, that sugar just sent him through the roof. Like he is all of a sudden on another level. Like he is nonstop. I tried to take him out to eat after when we were waiting on you. And my mom and I literally spent the whole time. I got a glass of wine. I didn't even order food because I knew there was no chance. It was so hot. I was so nauseous. I knew there was no chance I was even going to get to eat it. So I got him food. He sat in that high chair for maybe 2 minutes. And then all he did was run around the restaurant. And I just followed him around. I mean, I knew this was going to happen soon, but we're in it now. I'm so tired. I'm so tired. I always wondered how people at some point lose weight when they have a baby. I'm like, this is that stage, right? Where like you don't even eat, you're hot, you're exhausted, and all you do is chase them around.
Yeah.
And his little haircut, and he had that Dum-Dum sucker. I mean, he was on another level till like 8:30 last night.
Yeah, no, he didn't want to go to sleep. Like I felt that.
If y'all have any tips, I know he didn't. Tips and tricks for the hours between 3 and 8:30, we would appreciate it. Because we work hard at trying to wear him out. Like we do things, that trampoline park, man. You took him to the trampoline park recently, so I decided to take him. I don't know what I was thinking. I think the athlete in me thinks that I can still like sprint and, do the things I used to do at a trampoline when I was young. I used to like be flipping in the backyard and all of that. So my mom and I are with him at one of those trampoline
like 2
places. And
decades
he
ago.
wants to be around, exactly. He wants to be around the big kids, but they're 12-year-old boys jumping those trampoline parks. Man, if they had those when we were young, they were amazing. So I posted a video on my stories on Instagram, but my mom was like bullying me in the background. She's filming. I was like, will you take a clip of Remy and I kind of jumping? And then she's like, flip, flip. Like my mom is just bullying me into flipping. So I tried. When I tell you, I mean, that was my first and only attempt. I think I could get it if I kept trying. I got so dizzy halfway through my turn that like I couldn't even like get my feet on the ground. I just like plopped on my butt. I mean, at least I made it all the way around, but I was so dizzy from jumping. I got caught up in the excitement of like jumping and you can jump into the walls. I was so nauseous. I was so dizzy. A bunch of people wrote me, a bunch of women are like, how can you even jump on a trampoline after having a baby? Because I mean, that's actually really the downside, especially for a vaginal birth. Like you can't jump. Most women tell me they can't jump anymore. They can't jump rope and they can't trampoline without peeing, some leaking coming out. But I think my cesarean kind of helped me through that. I felt that way in the beginning for a bit, like my pelvic floor, but now I didn't even think about it. I was jumping. I had no leaking, just in case everyone was wondering.
Yeah. We were.
So at least I can still jump for now.
That's amazing.
I'm sure a second child would do that in, but yeah.
Yeah, no.
You don't think about the things, huh?
So far, you don't have to worry about that.
What?
About your flora. Your floor, your vagina floor. It's still shiny.
It's hanging in there, but that was great. But I'm just like not cut out for it anymore. I don't know if it's so hard when I used to be such a competitive athlete growing up. And so I love all of that, but I don't think I have it in me anymore. I mean, hence Fitish, but it's just hard. I think people know what I mean. Like if you used to play sports competitively, I'm sure it's like guys when they get out to play flag football or whatever with friends or you go out to play baseball and you just start going like 110% effort like you could have done when you were 15, 16 years old. And you realize like, wow, my body just doesn't work how it used to. It's such a hard realization, isn't it?
Yeah, no, as you mentioned, I was there Sunday. And
did you jump good?
Yes, I was jumping. No, I didn't try anything.
I was like dunking over kids' heads. I was like, ugh. What?
I didn't try anything crazy
You
just
didn't?
because like I've been trying to run every day and I was like if I try something stupid, I'm gonna hurt my feet or my ankle or my knees or my hips or like I was very cautious of that because I knew that was about to be it, like split my ankle or something like that.
It can be so hard finding activities for the kids, especially with it being so hot. You know what I mean? It's just like you want to take them to do stuff indoors or you just want to find more activities for them to do at home. And something Francisco and I have loved so much is our KiwiCo subscription for Remy. We've learned independent play is so important, and that's something that KiwiCo has really supported in our household. And I know we joke a lot about him watching some shows here and there, which is totally fine. But I think having age appropriate activities, it's so hard to know as a first time parent. Like, what do I do with a 12-month-old or a 17-month-old or a 2-year-old? KiwiCo is so incredible because, when you have the infant, they have the panda crate. So they know that they want the black and white cards and these sensory activities and stuff that they're just kind of learning to explore with their fingers and learn textures and sensations. And then obviously when they hit a little bit older, they need things, different things to explore, like the little vegetable garden or a little baking set so they can start learning about processes and the order of things. And KiwiCo has you covered here. So many enriching activities taking you all the way up to the teenage years. So you're going to be really surprised at how many cool, toys and activities and different crates they have to offer. The materials are also so high quality. So if you are looking for a gift for someone that's expecting or just for a birthday gift, I would be thrilled if someone got this for Remy as a birthday gift. There's also a lot of individual toys you can buy and add on to your monthly subscription. Redefine learning with play. Explore hands-on projects that build creative confidence and problem-solving skills with KiwiCo. Get 50% off your first month plus free shipping on any crate line when you go to kiwico.com/Fitish. That's 50% off your first month at kiwico.com/Fitish. Well, Fran, I know you have been working out almost every single day, which has been so nice. You're the fit, I'm the ish these days. I just have not been in the mood as much, but um we did get a question that says, how do you get back into an exercise routine after being out of one for so long? It's such a good question because I think that this is what stops a lot of people from exercising, because starting is the hardest part. Wouldn't you say? Like, because you took a really long break. You and I are different. I tend to be like 1 week on, 2 or 3 weeks off now. But both you and I in our past life used to be pretty into exercise. We would go 3, 4, 5 times a week, whatever. As I've gotten older, I put a lot less emphasis on it. I'm just in a phase right now, I guess. It's just really hard for me to commit. But I think that what I found, I want to take my mom as an example in this, because my mom used to teach jazzercise when she was younger. And then she genetically has always been pretty lucky to be able to eat like garbage and, not be super overweight. But she's unhealthy in that way, And so anytime she goes to work out again, people tend to overcommit, in my opinion. Like, I'm going to go every day. And you are very much this way, but you work well that way. But I just think women are different, in my opinion. Like, I just think that it's too much. Like, if you say, I am going to work out every day this week, don't do that to yourself. Literally, like, pick one class. I tell my mom, like, stop, because it's unsustainable if you've gone from not working out for months or years to, I'm going to go to the gym every day. It hasn't been part of your routine. It's going to be really hard to stick to. You're going to feel a lot of guilt when you don't. Then you're going to give up on it. My opinion is the Fitish way, which is what's always worked for me. And it's like, just do something one day, just make a commitment. Like, on Monday, start your week off on the right foot, carve out the time, if it's the morning or the afternoon, whatever it is, or find one class that you don't hate. I like to say, like, it may not be yoga, it may not be Pilates, it may be like a Zumba or a dance class or something. Just find a way to get your body moving, or go on a walk with a girlfriend, that sort of thing. You have to start small. Like, sometimes I think making little changes, I'm big into like attainability and accessibility, because I think if you make things too difficult, you will fail.
Get discouraged.
And then you build confidence by being able to make little achievements. So if you're like, you know what, I'm going to like not eat dessert this week and I'm going to go on a couple of walks. Like, make very small goals for yourself. And I think you'll kind of be amazed once you start accomplishing that, then you can add more to that. So that would be my advice. Just start small. Even if you're like, wow, I'm going to do a 10-minute YouTube video I found online. My good friend, Raven, Love is Blind Raven. She really does. She has such a great series of Pilates videos. I think she's just such a fabulous instructor. She makes stuff very accessible, and she has an app now. So she has a bunch of free workouts too. I mean, there's no excuse. You could just like sit at home and do it. I like to get out of the house more. I find a sense of community, more encouraging in that sense, like a class where someone's just kind of telling you what to do. But yeah, I would just try different workouts.
I think that's the key. I would say start with something that is easy to you, like a yoga or something like that,
right,
and something that is hard. So mix those two. Start with one and the other and just mix them.
That's why I always say pick something you don't hate, for me, because yoga for me, I hate. And I know that it's really good for you, and I wish I was better at it, but it's always been in my opinion, for me, it's the hardest kind of workout. I do better at like running and lifting and kind of those hybrid sort of workouts, because it's more reminiscent of playing soccer. And so, when you're good at a workout class, you feel so confident. But yeah, you should challenge yourself, but you can work up to that.
For sure.
I'm just into tweaking. Fran is different. You're on the opposite end of the spectrum. You're like, I'm going to lose weight. I'm going to go on this like extreme committed kind of diet regimen, or I'm gonna, change my nutrition completely. I'm gonna work out every day. You're so good at that. And I don't know, some women I guess are that way too, but y'all, I have always been honest. I am just not the type of person, like, I don't even like leftovers really. Like, I can't eat the same thing every day. It's hard for me to meal prep because I don't like to cook. So, it's a struggle. I think it's just, tweaking would be my advice, and just carve out a little bit of time. We all make time for the things we want to do. And if you really want to get yourself back into exercise, I think you just need to, it's okay if you hate everything that you try. Just find something that you hate at least.
I think classes are good because it's a community thing.
Yeah, I agree.
And the community always helps.
Mm-hmm.
And because you see people that are in your same level, and if you go to a class, there's people that are in a complete different stratosphere, but there's always someone that is in your same level that you can feel community with. Like you can have that common thing.
Well said. Someone wants us to do a whole episode discussing what you and I have both learned on past exes, advice, etc.
Yeah, sure.
Our past. I mean, I've talked about my past, I feel like, more than Fran has.
I talked about my past plenty.
Really?
Yeah. Everybody knows pretty much all my past.
Do they?
Yeah. I'm an open book.
Oh, yeah, we did tell that story that one time about the last girl that you were just like dating girls that had pugs, really?
No, I started a trend. I like the pugs, and I just wanted to date.
Hop on to the next black pug owner.
Yeah.
Yeah, which was me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't, in terms of like life lessons, I don't think a lot about my past exes. I think that's maybe something that comes with age. I don't think about it anymore, other than occasionally being like, ugh, but other than that, like it's kind of like a fleeting feeling if it ever pops into your head. But in general, for me, I think what's so hard is if you are, you're probably asking this question if you're going through something, but especially I think as women, and I don't know if men tend to do this either, and maybe you can tell me, I think a mistake that a lot of us make with relationships is when you're heartbroken or when something's not working out and you want it to so badly, you tend to romanticize it quite a bit, So I find it very healthy to like remind yourself of all the bad things, in that relationship, because absence usually does make the heart grow fonder sometimes when you're going, when you're in a breakup and you're kind of like, oh, you miss these good moments, but you forget about the fact that, there were probably a lot of reasons why it wasn't working out. And I mean, I can speak from experience when I've had, certain relationships end, and I really did. I thought it was like the end of the world. I was devastated for, a period of time. I mean, a year, or, very upset and had a really hard time moving on. And everyone would tell me, Jenna, it's so for the best. Oh my gosh, you're going to look back one day and be like, this is the best thing that could have happened to you. But I think, when you're so rejected and you're hurt and you just can't understand it, it's really hard to see things that way. But as I've gotten older, I've realized a few things, like life, a relationship should be simpler. It shouldn't be that much of a struggle. I mean, obviously it's a lot of work, raising a child together, and you definitely hear mine and Fran's own like struggles, and, we fight and argue, but wanting to spend time together should not be the issue. And I think that, at least for me, in my experience, that was always one of those things. I was like, wow, when I met Fran, like it just clicked, like it just felt nice. And it's like you wanted to make the effort and you wanted to spend time together, and we enjoy doing nothing together, and things should be simpler. And I think you really have to stop kind of romanticizing the exes. And for me, I also always used to think like, oh wow, you could still like maintain a decent relationship. No, you can't. Like it just doesn't really work that way. I mean, sure, there's been guys that I may have like, gone out on a date with for a minute that were in like a big group of friends that I would still say hello to if I said, but any kind of long relationship, if it ended poorly, it's so nice to just have it be like done and in the past. I think sometimes people, it's okay. It's like friendships too. Like people come into your life for seasons, and I don't know why we're taught like, people have lifelong friends, and it is hard to accept that you spend a lot of time with someone and then they're just a ghost to you and you never see them again. But that's just kind of the reality,
it's
right?
It's an organic thing. Like, as my dad always says.
What does your dad always say?
Change is the only constant.
Yeah.
And we are not the same person today that we're going to be tomorrow. We are constantly evolving, for good or for bad. But
it's just
when you're starting to evolve, you can evolve apart.
Right. I think it's a weird concept that you can be, and that's why heartbreak's so difficult. It's like you can be so close with someone for a really long period of time. You've been in very intimate relationships. You've had probably really close friendships, also platonic. But like you could have someone know every inch of your body and your mind, and feel so close to someone and so intimate. And then you just never speak or see each other again at some point, And it's such a weird concept. But I guess that's just kind of what life as a human is,
This is a concept that is very intriguing to me, because yes, you can have someone that knows every inch and every aspect of your life in that stage. course, your body doesn't change much, but it actually does. And when you move farther down the road, that it's not a complete different person in essence, but that's a different person now. It has had its evolution. It has had different growth, and it's not the same person that this guy knew every ins and outs of. The core for sure, but it's just not the same.
I started
stage.
flipping it too, looking at it as, oh, wow, like I spent so much time on this, and you have all these memories and you're romanticizing it. And then I went like, this person's not deserving of my time, of even taking up space in my mind, because we live this one life and it's clearly so fleeting and so short. And it's like, yeah, I really only, and that's again, another reason why not just romantically, but personally, I've just kind of said like, fuck off to really anyone that's not contributing or adding any sort of meaningful value to my life in terms of like a friendship and a support system, because we don't have enough time anymore. And all I really want to do is focus on Remy and have, I've really loved, even though I haven't gotten to know women, on a best friend sort of level, but so much of kind of the Fitish community that we've built's been so cool because so many of us have so much in common. And I think motherhood makes you feel so isolated sometimes. And it's just, I want to do more and more with that because it's so nice to be able to connect with women that are, we have stuff in common. And instead of just friends because we've been friends for 10 years, at some point it's like, I think a lot of us spend a lot of time spreading ourselves too thin on relationships and friendships when all I really care about now is like, you, Remy, if I can have some female friends that I know are solid and rooting for me and there for me and I can be there for them.
And the key factor is that real friends don't take maintenance. Like real friends, they're there because they're your real friends. Like if I call Paco, for instance, my friend from Guadalajara that we've been friends for 25 years. If I call him right now, we're going to be exactly the same type of friends that we were 25 years ago. And we don't talk more than once every few months. So that's the type of relationship that at this stage in our lives, we need something that is low maintenance, but heavy in relationship. Like you have the same intimate relationship with these people, intimate in the like more sensitive way. I don't know if it makes sense.
It does make sense. Yeah, it's sad though. We just don't have the time.
We're looking for these people that it just takes, like if you don't call them, they don't call you, and this and that, and like that's bullshit. But it's great. It's great to go grab a beer with them, and it's fun. Sunday fun day, you have a blast. But those are
Sunday fun day. When's the last time you saw one of those?
I'm never like I don't even know what a Sunday fun day is.
Yeah.
Well, I actually do know. I had an amazing Sunday fun day last Sunday with my little kid.
Oh, yeah, because I had to go on a work trip. Going on a work trip is, I think, I don't know, and I know maybe I'm not alone in this, but I've said this. I fall more in love with momming and parenting as time has gone on. I wasn't that one leaving the hospital like, I've never known love like this before. Maybe I was just fucked up on the drugs and the hormones and emotion, but now I'm really feeling that way. I mean, he's just such a joy and a terrorist, but it's so fun. And I just, it's like, gosh, that feeling, right? Like that everyone talks about, like I've never felt that way before. I could, you just get emotional thinking about it, and trying to leave on a trip is so hard. And I posted a little something about it because, and I was just going for like a day or two, and luckily I came back a little early, but it is so hard to leave, and with my flying anxiety. And I actually I have not left for anything other than work. I know some people are able, maybe, I don't know at what age, and that's kind of I don't know, we don't have to get in that conversation, but like, you see people just like go on girls trips, and I'm like, what do you mean? Like you have a baby at home. Like, how are you just like, aren't you just sitting there the whole time thinking about your baby? Work is a little bit better because I at least feel like I have to do it. Like what I just did, and I can't talk about right now, but like what I just did, like I have to do certain things and take risk for the business to grow the business. And a lot of you sent me the sweetest messages about it, saying like, try and look at this as like your banking time for later, because he's not going to remember you being gone right now. And hopefully what you're doing is buying yourself more time at home later by doing it right now, that maybe you will be able to afford more time when he does remember it, and you're not having to leave as much, or just saying like he's going to respect you for it because you're working so hard to build a business. And but it is, man, it's just, for me, it's like just leaving him and going to get on a damn airplane, and the fear I have, and like having to drug myself because I'm like, oh my gosh, I just think I'm going to die and then I'm never going to see him again. And I never used to have those kinds of feelings with anything before,
Yeah. No, it's tough for sure. And it's so funny. Like,
Neither you or I have taken a personal trip together
no,
or individually without him yet.
but it's so, like, it is amazing. I was last Sunday after our long day that it was really, really fun. I was FaceTime with my parents, and it's just so crazy. Like, it's so crazy to think that this is my child. Like,
Yeah.
it's just like, it's a concept I still having, still like in
Yeah,
awe.
I still don't feel like I have a kid.
Like, no, but it's
Fran
like,
and I look
it's
at each other
my-
sometimes.
like,
I don't
it's
know if
my
y'all do that.
kid.
I'm
It's
like, we have a kid.
This is like my clay to mall, you know? It's just amazing. It's just amazing feeling that it's just so weird, so out of reach for at some sort. It's just crazy to think about.
It is. And it's so much work too, but then, you have moments that it's like
But I have done so much more work for things that are way less
rewarding.
reward.
Yeah, of course.
This is like, yes, his work, but it's everything. Like,
And he'll have like 2 shitty days in a row. My mom's like, he's mean today. And I was like, all right, Mom, I don't want to hear it, because he's probably teething or tired or growing. And then he has a day that he is just like in such a good mood.
the thing
It's
is that
like they make up for it. So you forget.
yeah, and I always think about the fact that imagine that you cannot talk, that you cannot express yourself, and you have an ache or you have a pain or something is itching. Like, you're gonna be fucking pissed as fuck. Like, you're gonna be mad that you cannot, like,
Fran's so understanding, and I'm just so much more
he starts
direct.
crying
I'm
and
like,
feeding, and you give him a popsicle, and it's like, dude, I have a fucking itch in my back. I don't need a popsicle. I'm gonna take the popsicle because it looks good. But then I'm gonna start crying again.
you're so great about it. I'm just like, show me with your hands, Remy. Show me what the problem is, when he starts losing it. Like, I talk to him like an adult so directly. I'm like, show me what's going on. Like, can you show me? Are you hurting? Like, and I know he probably doesn't understand any of it yet, but hopefully soon.
Soon will, for sure.
Yeah. And trying to get him into a school is a whole nother issue. There's this Spanish school. I shouldn't even put it out there, but whatever. I tell y'all everything that I'm trying to get him into. We were going to put him in this private Montessori, but we start talking about it and we're like, it's so expensive for like 3 hours a day. And like, we need more childcare than that, And it's not just about that. Remy is, everyone says this, like, smart, but he like really wants to be doing a lot of stuff. He's talking a lot and he's singing and he's, saying parts of the alphabet. Like, he needs teaching. He needs it mentally. He needs to be stimulated more, I think, than just being at home all the time. And so we really want to get him in somewhere. And so we're like on a wait list. And I'm like, how long's the wait list? Like, is it like 2 years? Should I like try and find somewhere else for him for now? I don't know what I was thinking, but it's just crazy. The
I'm
whole
talking
concept.
to the other one today.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
Thanks. Thank you. It's like I always bitch to Fran. I'm like, this is the hard part. Like, sitting in a deposit, calling the school. Like, do we need to go to an open house? All of these things that come along with parenting. That's not like the hands-on part of the parenting, but everything else that goes along with it. And then I feel guilty. Like, what was I thinking? Why didn't I put him on a list when I was pregnant? Because I don't think that far ahead. Because that's silly. Like, I don't want to have to think that far ahead. I thought you only had to do that when you're trying to get them into like
I'm upset
prestigious
because
private
every
schools.
book that I read says that. Like, you should.
You could have done it too.
I know, and I said I'm upset with.
Oh,
myself.
I thought you were saying you were upset with me. I was like,
No.
yeah, same. But I'm pregnant and like your head's not there. You're so overwhelmed. It's so hard. So if you are pregnant right now, I guess
Start looking for school.
it sounds ridiculous, but yeah, you probably
like
should.
when I heard that, when I was reading that from that book that whatever name it is, I was like, well, we don't live in New York. We don't live in a place like that where the wait list is like 5 years. And
yeah, that's
then
what I
we're
thought it was for,
"Oh,
like prestigious private schools. No, it's like everywhere.
Yeah, even the shitty ones.
Man, he needs school, man.
Yeah.
He needs school.
Well, every time that he sees Miss Rachel, he sees Mama. So that's an opportunity for you to take cover. You put like an overall with a pink shirt,
I'm aware. Yeah,
and
it's
you
just
can start
overalls.
homeschooling.
Yeah, and the headband.
Yeah, and we can just do the homeschooling.
There's the funniest TikTok that is using that audio from that girl on the airplane that was like, that motherfucker is not real. And it's a little kid who was taken to some outing where there's a fake Miss Rachel dressed up for all the kids. And the little girl staring, like knowing it's a fake Miss Rachel. It's like, that motherfucker's not real. Like, you know Miss Rachel when you see Miss Rachel. So that'd be the power move. Yeah. Have Miss Rachel come to a big birthday party for the kids. Yeah.
We should try to have her as a podcast
Should we?
host.
Should we? She's so famous now. Yeah, we should try and like get her to come to an event.
Yes.
Yeah, for moms. Oh, yeah, I think she lives in New York.
Well, we might
but
have to take the moms wherever she.
If y'all haven't, I've actually met a lot of parents who haven't watched Miss Rachel or they don't like screen time. I'm telling you, Remy's vocabulary and talking is, I think, I don't know how to compare, but only talking to a friend who has another kid. Like we noticed at gym class the other day that none of the kids his age are talking, and y'all, Remy's like, oh yeah, like not all coherent, but a lot of words, animals, saying different stuff. And Miss Rachel, he knows all the songs. He's like clapping to it. I think that it is really, we're big fans of the show. I think she started it over, trying to find a way to give her son some speech therapy because he was delayed. And we're just huge fans of it. I really can't say enough good things about it. And I'm not even annoyed with it yet. But the songs and the wheels on the bus and the ABCs and Remy's like singing along. And he just absolutely loves it. So I'm sure some of you are like, yeah, I know.
And I get the full overload of screen time, and we try to keep it very on the wraps, but it's very comparable when you go, like when we were at that the museum, the Play Street Museum.
Yeah,
there was this kid that was 1 8 or 1 7 months, 1 year 7 months, and he didn't. And every kid is different, but I asked, like, have you seen Miss Rachel? Like, oh no, my kids don't watch TV. It's like 100% respectful. Like,
yeah,
I actually admire you because that means that
that's hard.
you have no reprieve.
Yeah,
Like you there is no 1 second that
you got to use it as
how
a
do you
crutch
go to
here
the
and there.
bathroom? I asked her,
know.
like,
Yeah, I've learned to like throw it on the phone. I just want a bite of food, damn it. Sometimes like at a restaurant, we don't even take them out to eat much anymore because it's so hard. I guess we're just in that phase. So funny.
oh, I wrangle with them, but yes.
I have the biggest issue with the screen time, I think, out of everyone. My problem with it is not Miss Rachel and it's not any screen time. It's that I think that there are days that he's getting too much. And it's hard because it's 107 and he's at an age that he's not, in a camp or anything like that. And this period of time is tough because I'll sometimes come home and see my mom has it on and I know you had it on in the morning, or, I've told the nanny like, no, no time. Or then y'all all have it on all day. And then like, what happens when I like want to use it for a minute, and then I'm like coloring, I'm doing the crafts and the activities with him because I just think, I think an hour.
You're the life, Miss Rachel.
With the worst singing voice ever.
Well, he doesn't care. He gives you help us for that.
He doesn't know yet until he grows up and he's going to be like, Mom, man, you have a terrible singing voice.
What matters is what sits inside. He knows that even though it doesn't sound as harmonious as Miss Rachel, your intentions are good.
Well, thank you for that, baby. All right. Well, that's all we have for you today. We will see you back here next week.
Yeah. See you next week.